Hello everyone! Now here I am, Steve, the classic comics man, the Lovely Daddy, and just some guy named Steve, walking down International Drive here in Orlando, on the outskirts of Orlando, by golly, and just having a good time, getting out, enjoying nature, and it's been kind of cold, it's been raining, it's been crazy, not normal Orlando weather. And the tourists are horrified by it. They came down here to go to Disney World and go to SeaWorld and this and that, and they came down and it's in the 40s and it's pouring down rain, and they weren't too happy about it. But I was at SeaWorld yesterday, and it was raining. It was the day before yesterday. BB and I were there, and it was raining, and it was cold. When I say cold, I'm not talking about like Chicago where they got minus 50-degree wind chills. I'm talking about Orlando cold, it was in the 50s. And we're not used to that here, so we were like, no, not 50 below, 50 above. But to us, that's cold. Okay, I have great pity for you folks in Chicago and everywhere else up north, where global warming is non-existent. Yep. Where were we? Oh yeah, well, anyway, I had on 2 shirts and 2 coats and a poncho and got wet, but we still had a great time. We got to see the penguin encounter, we get to see sharks and penguins and all kinds of wonderful stuff at SeaWorld. And we even got to see Shamu, the killer whale, in one of the very last shows for Shamu, because animal rights people have decreed and declared that, well, maybe SeaWorld isn't treating Shamu all that well. So, controversial, who knows, I don't know. I haven't researched it enough. I haven't seen that movie, that Blackfish movie that, some folks allude to. All I know is that we enjoyed the show. Now, I saw the show many years ago. It's quite watered down, a watered down water show. But in the old days, 10, 15 years ago, the Shamu show was quite spectacular. Kind of like the dolphin show, which we also saw this time, still is. On the dolphin show, people ride on the backs of dolphins. They play games with dolphins. The dolphins are wonderful. They jump up and make flips in the water. And again, sometimes people are on their back and stuff. The dolphins seem to be friends with people. They all have a blast. It seems like the dolphins are having a great time too. Well, the SeaWorld trainers seem to have treated the killer whales the same way. And the show in years past had them like the killer whales would jump up out of the water with a human being attached to the nose who would do a flip, and then the dolphin would do a flip. And there were a lot of great tricks. These days, as they phase out this show, prepare to replace it with something else that is considered by, again, animal rights activists and stuff, more humane. I have no idea. I haven't been following the news on this, but I just heard this. The dolphins kind of just, they do a few flips, they do their flippers like this to spray everybody in the audience with water, and everybody laughs and gets a big thrill. And then they swim off, and that's the end of the show. So a watered down water show. Well, we enjoyed it, even sitting there in the stands, soaked with multiple coats on, and in the cold and the rain. Well, at this particular show, there was an awning, a roof over top of us, so we didn't get wet, but we were already wet, it didn't matter. I do know when I came home, I had to my socks were completely soaked, okay? So I threw away the pair of shoes that I'd been wearing because obviously they had holes in them. They were letting the rain in. BB had on boots, and guess what? Her feet got soaked too, so this was magical rain. It was rain that can soak through anything. Didn't matter. It could permeate anything. And your feet and your socks are going to get totally soaked no matter what. Just the way it is. Now, where were we? What were we talking about? How did we get to this point? I don't know, I'm just out for a walk. I got a new time traveler comic, mini comic from Ian Shires, our old buddy Ian Shires. Now Ian, and I meant to bring it with me. I thought I had it in my pockets here. I got pockets. I got big pockets here. I got big pockets here. Guess what? Nothing's in them. I meant to bring that comic along. And let's stop and take it. Let's examine this first. We got branches that are down. There's a lake over here. Branches are down. And this here, okay, there's a light here. And this here looks like a fabulous mess. What the heck is going on here? I don't know. Looks like Godzilla came through here or something happened, but yeah, here's a tree, and guess what? The top half of the tree is gone. What happened here? I don't know, but you come across these sorts of things in Central Florida. Across the street over here, we have a big fountain, water, yep, water up in the air, way high, and people driving by, and that's just what you see here. But anyway, well, at least in this area, I don't know, there's a lot of road construction going on, and maybe somehow things got damaged in that process. Okay, I'm walking across the street. Over here, there's like an apartment complex and a lake that might have alligators. I've seen a baby alligator over here. It wasn't very big. After all, it was a baby. Historically, babies aren't very big. History proves that to us. I gotta wait for all this traffic. Being on International Drive, this is one of the most heavily trafficked areas in the entire area. So I'm just waiting here. We were talking about Ian Shires. This is, after all, the classic comics man. Now Ian, I got this new comic and it's really nice, but look, it looks really nice. I haven't read it, okay, so I'm not going to go here and stand, well, this comic is great, because I know it is, but I haven't read it yet. Since I didn't bring it to me, I had intended to stop and sit down and read the darn thing and review it. All I want to say is it exists, as does Ian. And Ian is one of our favorite people. We love the guy. We love this guy for all these years. I remember he was, there was a lot of history. In the early days, back in the 80s and stuff, I'm not sure if he was around in the late 70s. He was definitely around in the 80s, and he was publishing mini comics. And quite frankly, Ian, don't listen to this part, okay? I'm going to say something, just don't listen, okay? Tune out, go to the kitchen, get you a tuna fish sandwich or whatever. Okay, look guys, in the early days, back in the 80s, we all thought Ian was nuts. We thought he was kind of nuts. Because Ian, while he published great comics and stuff, and he drew them himself most of the time, not always. Sometimes he had Max Inc. Doing the artwork, which was incredible. On Dungar the Barbarian, which was the character he created, Ian had Max Inc. He would write the stories, and Max would draw them, and Max was an incredible artist, and was and is. Ian knows he's not a great artist, and but he even drew Dungar, and he drew this character, Herman Hanks, time traveler, and other characters, and but Ian has like no apologies for that. He does what he does just for the fun of it, and also, and this is where the controversy comes in. Back in the 80s, we all thought he was nuts because he thought he could run his small press comics, what? He wrote his small press comics. Well, he thought he could sell comics and do it as a business, okay? So, as a business. And so Ian was selling his comics, advertising his comics. Actually, he was doing really smart stuff from a businessman's perspective. In retrospect, and he was making money, or trying to make money. I don't know how much he actually made on these mini comics, well, years later, we can kind of see where Ian was coming from. Ian was, he knew what he was doing. He had a good idea, and he worked hard at that. He had a mission. He had a dream, and he accomplished that dream to a darn mighty extent. Talking about mighty extent, like mighty Thor. Yeah. If Ian had the hammer, Mjolnir, if he had the hammer of Thor, he would have like, boom. I have accomplished this mighty mission. I am Ian the Mighty. And he kind of looks like Thor. He's got long hair and a beard. Well, at least Thor used to. Now they shaved Thor's beard and made him look really geeky and stuff for the movies, but he's still kind of mighty. Nonetheless, yeah, where were we? Ian is mighty, Thor was mighty, but Ian is mighty now, so Ian kind of takes the place of Thor. Yeah, Ian is the most mighty of all the gods now. He's kind of a god. And yeah, we thought it was crazy, but you know what? Ian's not crazy. He's just kind of funny. And he's a cool guy. He's definitely a cool guy. I've heard him sing karaoke and sing like rock songs and stuff. Man, he can really belt it out. He's got a great voice. He's got a great singing voice. And these days, Ian continues to produce his mighty mini comics, and he also has his own YouTube channel where he does such mighty and exciting stuff as grow vegetables. So he's got a garden, and he planted the garden, and he talks about his garden and, you know, what he's growing in his videos. Might not seem exciting to you, but it still makes for entertainment. Yeah, Ian's continues to be entertaining. What I want to say is that Ian, I'm having a lot of fun with this, and you know, and I hope you're not too pissed off. Don't hit me with that darn hammer, okay? No, I'm just kidding. No, just seriously, we're having fun with this, but just receiving that Comics Day brought this to mind. That and too many cups of coffee, I suppose. But yeah, you know what? The sun's going to be going down here. The skies are starting to look kind of nice. I love Central Florida. Ian, if you're ever down here, go to MegaCon. MegaCon in Orlando is one of the biggest comic conventions in the country. And guess what? I'm thinking about going this year. Tony Lorenz, if you're watching, and others of my friends who attend MegaCon, I'm thinking about going this year. I think I maybe will. I looked up the tickets online for Thursday night, which is a joke. Thursday night, the con is only open for like 4 hours, and it's $20. Because what it is basically the distributors just getting there, setting up, and I was a distributor there once. I had a table there at MegaCon one year, 10 years or so ago, and my daughter Judy had a table. I was selling comics. I was selling my comics, Jim Main's comics. Hi, Jim. Going to MegaCon, and Judy. Kathy was there too, but Judy had her own table. Judy, where she was selling her own artwork, and she was a teenager at the time, and all these guys kept coming to the table and flirting with her. She actually did make some money, and she made a lot of fans, like guys. But I was keeping a close eye on that, and it went well. So yeah, here I am crossing the street. Crossing the street at the Marriott Vacation Club. Yep, the Marriott Vacation Club. Lots of people in line here. This is a video about Ian Shires, but I've digressed all over the place. Coming up on a lake over here, a big alligator lake, or an alligator lake, where we've often seen many alligators. If I see anything, you'll know about it because the camera's still running. Yeah, so MegaCon, where was I? Thursday night is a joke. 4 hours of people setting up, and you can go in for $20. Friday is, I think, $30. Saturday, which is the biggest day, because it's Saturday, by golly, the biggest day of the convention, Saturday's $50. That's the day, if I go, I'll probably go on Saturday. I hope to go. I'd like to go. Haven't been in many years. Well, I haven't been in a decade to MegaCon. I have old video of being there with my ex-wife and my children, and we had fun in those days, and I know it's still fun. You know, they have comics professionals and movie people like Michael J. Fox is supposed to be there, so it'll be a pleasure to meet him and other people. So yeah, so I might go to that, I don't think Ian Shires is going to be there. Ian, if you want to go to MegaCon, it's in May, all right? Get your ticket now, okay? And so I'm going to end this video here. That's enough talking about Ian, but here's a bird with a funny looking beak. Something you'll see in Central Florida. If you're in Rhode Island or New York or whatever, Canada, you're not going to see a bird that looks like this. But I'm looking at one now. And there he is, sticking that funny looking spoonish beak in the water. Looking for, I don't know, McDonald's cheeseburgers or something. He's happy. He's enjoying things, and he's not, you know, at all intimidated by the idea that there might be alligators in this water. And there might be. I mean, in fact, there are. I know for a fact there are. And I'm walking along here, unintimidated myself. Unless one of these suckers jumps out of the lake and grabs me by the leg. And if it does, if I lose a leg, that's okay. I'll try to crawl to safety, break out my flare pen and start drawing a comic detailing the entire experience. Yep. Okay, guys. You have a great day. And blessings to you. All best wishes. Ian Shires. You are a god, my friend. You're a god. Sorta. I mean, you are, but you're a mighty man. I'm just saying that I got to be careful what I say because it might be controversial. And my girlfriend, BB, might be offended because she's very religious. So I want to say that, you know, you're a god of small press, a god of everything, and a god of singing and rock and roll. You're a god, and you're a god of vegetable planting. Yep. See you guys next time. This is the Classic Comics Man signing off. All best wishes. Good night.